Mr. Bennet calls on Mr. Bingley. In the Regency era, a call could decide whether two families would become intimately acquainted or remain complete strangers. Introducing yourself is just the first step. The real question is, will Mr. Bingley return Mr. Bennet's call? Let's find out. Today we're talking about morning calls, how an acquaintance can be offered and accepted. For this discussion, we're only discussing men introducing themselves to men because men and women have more rules and nuance, and specifically about introducing yourself to someone new in the neighborhood. Because again, this topic is very broad and we'll go deeper into it on another episode. Men introducing themselves to other men is a much more flexible process than men and women and women and women. Although there's still an expectation that the social connection should be equal. That being said, when someone new moves into the neighborhood, it is considered polite to call on them and introduce yourself, and it is expected. The reason for this call would be to introduce yourself, welcome them to the neighborhood, and then create a connection for socializing and getting invites to events. In the Regency era, there was a proper way to go about making these introductions, and one of these was the morning call. Let's start with a quote from the book. "I'm sorry to hear that, but why did not you tell me so before? If I had known as much this morning, I certainly would not have called on him. It is very unlucky, but as I have actually paid the visit, we cannot escape the acquaintance now." You might find it funny to know that a morning call didn't actually happen in the morning. These usually took place in the afternoon. During the 18th century, morning was used to indicate a time before dinner. The actual morning was a very private time for a family. So what did Mr. Bennet calling on Mr. Bingley look like? It would have gone something like this. Mr. Bennet would arrive at Netherfield and inquire if Mr. Bingley is home. A footman would then check with Mr. Bingley and see if Mr. Bingley is home in a social sense. At the time, it was perfectly normal for someone to say they're not home if they're not up to having a social visit. As we read in the novel, Mr. Bennet did visit with Mr. Bingley, so he would have been home. Mr. Bennet would then likely be invited in to sit. This would be a very short interaction, 10 to 15 minutes at the most. The conversation would be light and stay on general topics. Afternoon tea was only introduced in the later half of the 18th century, so I wouldn't imagine them drinking tea for this scenario. To cement the connection, the one being called on, Mr. Bingley, would then have the choice of returning the call. If the call was not returned, then this was a totally polite way of declining the acquaintance. So does Mr. Bingley return Mr. Bennet's call? Let's see. In a few days, Mr. Bingley returned Mr. Bennet's visit and sat about 10 minutes with him in the library. He had entertained hopes of being admitted to the sight of the young ladies, of whose beauty he had heard much, but he saw only the father. So not only does Mr. Bingley return the call, but he was actually hoping to meet some of the Bennet girls. From this, we see that Mr. Bingley is open to making friends, that he's willing to make acquaintances and connections in the neighborhood, and eager for socializing. And we see that eagerness right away because he quickly returns to London to gather a group of people for an upcoming assembly. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you'd like to hear an audio reading of Chapter 2, then please click the next clip in this playlist, or grab a copy of Pride and Prejudice and read Chapter 2 right now. Otherwise, I hope you'll stay tuned for next week's episode where we read and discuss Chapter 3 and 4 of Pride and Prejudice and discuss assemblies and dancing. Thank you for watching. I just want to mention that this is a hobby channel. I am not an expert or historian. I just like reading and doing research and want to share what I found with you so that you can enjoy Jane Austen's novels better, because knowing the history and the context of the time really helped me to enjoy Jane Austen's works even more. So if you enjoy period dramas, slow burn romances, and emotionally devastating letters, then consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!